Do you want to adventure in Exandria with 9 new subclasses, 5 new backgrounds, and the vestiges of divergence? Do you need taverns? How about 17 of them with all the details needed to bring them to life? Do you want to visit a world that runs on blood? How about a new damage type called Blood Damage? We've got books that give you all that and much more in the 100th episode of D&D New Releases. Let's get started. Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover a selection of titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. Our newest release, Dragonlance Companion, offers 180 pages for players and DMs to bring the magical world of Krynn to life. And like many of our books, it's available in hardcover and digital format. Our Swarms of the Multiverse offers over 70 brand new creatures, including their associated swarms, instructions on how to make your own balanced swarms, and lots of bonus materials such as 4 new demiplanes. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs alike. Also, our book, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. Welcome to our 100th episode. We've been doing this for almost 2 years. 2 weeks from now, it'll be 2 years every single week, bringing you a video of the new releases. We covered thousands of books, hopefully brought customers and exposure and new fans to all these different publishers. So thank you for joining us on that journey, and we're going to continue it. So glad you're here. Please stay tuned. We have so much planned for you coming up this year at Splinterverse Media, as well as continuing to bring you this show every week. So stay tuned and hang in there. We're going to have some adventures together. All right, first up we have Bloodpunk, a guide to Tolia from Dream Realm Storytellers, and it is $25 for the PDF, and it's 267 pages. It was a Kickstarter that I backed, and I really like everything that Dream Realm Storytellers does. I think I have everything they've done because I've really enjoyed it. And they're really talented, and everything looks so good that they produce. In this case, it's all about blood, which is a really interesting take on some things. And I was looking through it yesterday, and I was really liking how different everything is with this sort of blood element. And it's not all, gory blood. It's just the concept of blood. In fact, they have a new damage type in here, which I thought was a brilliant design, where it's called blood damage, but what it really means is if a creature has resistance or to poison or necrotic, it'll still get through, because it's almost like it's both poison and necrotic damage at the same time, even though it's used as a singular damage type. So really, really fun mechanic. But it says, welcome to Tolia, land of 2 tyrannous cities and unforgiving wilderness. Walk the streets of the cities ruled by authoritarian vampires or sorcerers, or get lost in the dog-eat-dog nature as you discover this ruthless land. In this book, which can be used by both game masters and players, you'll get to explore a world that runs on blood. Not metaphorically, but literally, and find many races, archetypes, backgrounds, feats, monsters, NPCs, and much more that are native to the lands of Tolia. You'll witness instances of despotism, cruelty, injustice, and the everlasting effects of a long history of rivalry and animosity between the Crimson City, ruled by vampires, and the city of deceit ruled by sorcerers. So, they've set up a really good conflict there between these two cities. And, a world run on blood is a really interesting take on things, too. It says, as the name suggests, Bloodpunk presents a world where technology runs on blood and a semi-magical crystal called angst, which have allowed the civilization in this realm to develop immensely. With the invention of bloodwork automatons and bloodwork weapons, the technology of the realm has reached unforeseen peaks and is waiting for you to use in your games as you wish. Whether the players seek to uphold and contribute to the status quo or become part of the rebellious masses who refuse to be part of the tyrannical regime, Tolia awaits, yearning to be experienced and examined by ttrpg lovers. So yeah, just scrolling, look at the artwork. Always, Dream Realm brings some of the best artwork in the game to the table. So if you look at the table of contents here, you can see they've got some races where you have a vampire template and a crimson template, as well as the sentient bloodwork automaton, and then you've got all these archetypes. So the crimson path for the barbarian, and then College of Blood Singing and College of the Oppressed for bard, and then a bunch of other stuff, including the Vein Scripter for the wizard. So fun times, lots of options for you there. Then you get some backgrounds, feats, and then you get all this sort of gazetteer stuff where you find out about Tolia, and then some spells and rituals, and then bloodwork, weapons, and items. So, potions, rings, scrolls, all that stuff, monsters, NPCs, etc. So, and I mean, look at this artwork. It is just stunning. It reminds me a little bit of Metropolis, like this particular image, that classic silent film. So you've got the sentient bloodwork automaton, and it goes through all the traits. We're going to look at some of this in detail in a minute. And then there's templates for certain things, and then you get right into some of the archetypes here. So you need to see some of those. I mean, the artwork is just really fun. This one, I love the Sanguine Domain artwork. That it looks like a vampire, maybe with a giant jewel hanging. Pretty cool. Druid circles. I mean, you're getting to see a big chunk of this book. I mean, 20 pages out of the 267. So you should be able to get a good feel for how it is, how it's written, how beautiful the artwork is, the layout, all that good stuff. So I do hope you come here and check it out. I'm going to read just a little bit on some of these races here for you. So they're called heritages. Let's look at the automaton. So it says origins of the bloodwork automaton. Whether you were the lowest of the low or the highest of the high, a criminal or a hero, your blood now gives life to a whole new existence. Who you were is no longer important. Welcome to the fascinating world of bloodwork science. It says bloodwork automatons are genderless. Their bodies may resemble a woman's or a man's, both or neither. Their bodies are made of strong metals and decorated with various designs fitting the taste of their creators. So it sounds like you were basically manufactured, and maybe you used to be something, which could be a mystery, I guess, as part of the backstory. Bloodwork automatons in society. The common folk of Tolia do not take too kindly to bloodwork automatons. In general, they are deemed heartless machines, constructs that are only good for following orders and that cannot think for themselves, or simply things whose ideas are not worthy of consideration. However, these automatons' role in society are of the utmost importance. They make the lives of many better thanks to their enhanced bodies and natural endurance. There are bloodwork automatons who've made a name for themselves and become respected individuals in society, though one does not happen upon a bloodwork automaton of great repute every day. So that could be a fun thing to roleplay, that, basically most of the folks don't like you and you're trying to prove yourself and that you are worthy of respect. And it goes through all the different things. So you have automaton health. Since you are a special type of construct, you can choose to spend one of your hit dice and regain a number of hit points equal to the number rolled plus your con modifier. You can also be healed by spells specifically designed to heal automatons, which they have some in this book. And it says you have advantage on saving throws against disease and being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage. Your body may be enduring against disease and poison, but you still function with blood. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can't wear armor on your body. However, your construct body provides you with a certain amount of protection. It says, although you do not need to eat or drink, your body requires a certain amount of blood to function effectively. Once per week, you have to refill the blood tanks within your body with an amount worth of 5 kfcs for each level you have. Otherwise, you starve. It says, since you are created for a specific purpose, you gain proficiency in a skill of your choice, which was actually the choice of your creator. So again, that can be fun to roleplay. You know, I was designed for blah blah blah. You know, and then you can act that out. And then you've got the sort of sub races here, different automatons, and then you get to the templates, which are these other races. So it says. Crimson template. So life is a river and blood is what flows within. It separates into branches that reach us all, sustaining our lives. Although most of the streams flow steadily in peace, some of them are more violent and powerful. Crimsons are those fed by these violent streams, and they are born with the mark of blood. They have crimson eyes and their hair is white. Some say that they are cursed and destined to bring about disasters. Others say they are gifted and destined for greatness, yet the truth of the matter remains a mystery. What is certain is their cold, emotionless hunger for blood. This template can be chosen by anyone during the creation of a character. Characters with this template have crimson eyes and white hair. No matter what their original race entails, a character can also acquire this template if it gets in contact with a mystical force related to blood, receives a gift from a blood dragon, is affected by a powerful blood magic, etc. When you choose this template, you gain the following features. So, vampiric nature, your type does not change, but you do not require air, food, or drink. However, you still need to sleep, and you must consume an amount of fresh blood each day, or you suffer from hunger. And it goes through what that means for you, and it says you've got a destiny, and then you can invoke the power within. As a creature has a special bond with blood, you know how to invoke the potential lurking within the veins of others. As an action, you can perform a unique action to awaken this power within the blood of the creatures around you. So it can be a war cry, specific hand gesture, whatever you choose, basically. But as a result of this action, allies within 30 feet of you that can hear or see you gain a +1 bonus to ability checks, attack rolls, or saving throws for 1 minute. And then you have to finish a long rest to use it again. So this kind of like overlays on top of your race. So I would consider this to be like somewhere between a race and a lineage, because a lineage completely overwrites your race. And this is between that, which I like. I like that there's another option, these templates that they're going with. So, and then they have another one with a vampire too. So really cool stuff. I mean, I wish you could hear all of this, but we have to move on to other books and tell you what else is out there. So hopefully you'll come check this out. Look at the 20 pages they've got for you. It's really fun. I'm excited to get the hardcover I got from the Kickstarter, but I think you got to get this PDF and start mixing it up with some of these blood creatures. And I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff in here. I can't even scratch the surface of this. So the best thing for you to do is grab it for yourself. It's in the links below. It's under Bloodpunk, a guide to Tolia. Give it a click. Next, we have the Elemental Scion, a brand new class from Gregory Wonderland, $4.95 for 26 pages. It says, got an urge to punch a dragon with lightning? Maybe you enjoy creating massive explosions on a whim or just shifting the earth at its core. The Elemental Scion is all that and a whole lot more. As either an alternative spellcaster, an elemental-based martial class, or a hybrid of both, the Elemental Scion provides a host of different options to play the kind of character you prefer and blow things up in the process. If you're a fan of elemental bender archetypes or enjoy vast customization, this is a class definitely worth checking out. So looks like it could be really fun, and there's what they call callings, which is subclasses. So you can get experience picking different subclasses with it as well, because you're going to need that. And the names are Djinn, Primalist, Sage, or Summoner. So it says become a geniekin, grab elemental smites, all sorts of good stuff. So inside, it says elemental scions are naturally imbued with their talents, either born into, exposed, or subsumed by planar powers. They champion the elements and the ideas of what they represent. Their powers are more extensions of their own essences rather than studied or developed. So yeah, they kind of are just imbued with it, so they have it inside them. That's cool. It says, unlike traditional spellcaster, Scions make use of techniques, spell-like abilities that scale with them as they gain power drawn from the limited pool of energy. So looking down here, you can see kind of the table, and you have forms that you learn, I guess, and it goes all the way up to 5, and then techniques all the way up to 10. So you got elemental suffusion, so powers inherited from the elemental plane sculpt you to their will. As such, many of your initial features from the elemental Scion are drawn from the elemental core of your character, including your hit dice and save proficiencies. So basically you have to pick an element, and then that determines like your starting hit die and your tools and all those things. So that's a fun way of doing it. And they've got the 4 elements here to pick from. And then you've got techniques. At first level, you gain access to techniques, spell-like abilities that allow you to bend and shape elements to your whim. Techniques require a specific elemental suffusion to use and otherwise act as spells using the same rules for their action economy. They do not use spell slots, but instead cost energy, a resource pool that the elemental Scion uses for the techniques and other abilities. Your energy pool, or EP, is equal to 1/2 your Scion level, rounded down, minimum of 1, plus an ability modifier depending on your element, that are restored on a short or long rest. Likewise, your techniques use an attack modifier and save DC, and then it tells you how to calculate that. So you got your forms, blistering force. When you learn this form, you gain the unarmed fighting style, and whenever you make an unarmed attack, you may use your bonus action to imbue a single strike with additional power from your element, dealing an additional 1d8 points of damage when you hit a creature. The damage type depends on your elemental suffusion, so you would do slashing, bludgeoning, fire, or bludgeoning. And it says when you add the extra damage from your element, your attacks count as magical. All right, so lots of stuff in here, so I can't read all of it, unfortunately, but we're going to skip around and look at some different things. So it says dueling, which it seems to be one of your immaterial armaments that you can choose. It says when you are wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon. When you choose this style, you create a simple melee weapon that you are proficient with that may appear however you wish. It deals 1d8 plus your strength modifier in the relevant damage type and possesses the finesse property. So that's good. Looks like a fun one. And then there's other ones, like archery, 2-weapon fighting, all that stuff. But then you got these primal projections, which are kind of like spells. So let's pick one. There's one called the Howling Current, which is for air. And it's got a range of 120 feet, and its duration is 1 minute, requires concentration. You summon gale force winds that shred a single creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack on a hit. The target takes 1d10 points of slashing damage. Once the target takes this damage, you may use your bonus action on the same turn and on subsequent turns to activate the gale again for as long as you hold your concentration up to 1 minute, dealing 2d4 points of additional slashing damage. So that's cool. You first do it and you deal the damage, and then on your next turn, as long as you're still concentrating on it, you can use bonus action. So you can do something else and this damage. I like that because it's kind of boring just doing the same thing every turn, but if you're doing it as a bonus action, that's cool. And then it says at second level, your elemental suffusion grants you an additional ability. So for air, you would gain resistance to all magical slashing damage, and while wearing no armor and not wielding a shield, your AC equals 10 plus your dex plus your wisdom mods. So that's cool. I mean, there's just a lot here. I mean, each different option seems like it's really going to be fun to pick through and decide, okay, do I want to be air, fire, earth, water? Which direction do I want to go? And I'm assuming because they're different that it would be like a totally different experience if you played each of the 4 over time. So fun stuff. It's always nice to have additional classes to try out. So look for it in the links below. It's under Elemental Scion. Give it a click. Next we have Middlerock Mysteries, the Washed Up Wizard. And it is a suggested price of $9.99 for 20 pages. And it is a murder mystery that takes place in the city of Middlerock in the Shattered Spires Mountains. And it says can be completed in 4 to 8 hours depending on your player's skills. Open world city map as the investigation ground. Homebrew deadline system, which sounds interesting. Multiple endings and multiple solutions to the case. Yeah, the art with Brightly Brewed, who put this out, Ben Chesham and Athena Lau, and Athena Lau is the artist. The art is just so beautiful. So it's 20 pages. Let's look inside. So you can see all the different sections of the adventure, and then at the end, there's items, NPCs, creatures, and tables, and it just really looks beautiful to scroll through. I mean, look at the city map. I mean, it just jumps off the page. It's like almost 3-dimensional, which is really nice. Get the story overview. We'll look at that more in a minute, but I just want to do a quick scroll through so you can see all the wonderful artwork. Some of the maps in here, like this one, just crazy good. I know it's isometric, and I love isometric stuff, and you can just sort of go through each of the doors and just kind of imagine what they're going to experience. I love that it really depicts how things look, and then you can see those different things elsewhere in the book. Close-ups of some of that map. So yeah, you're getting to see pretty much the entirety of the book here in the preview, which is so helpful. So make sure you spend time looking through it, see if it's going to work for you. I love looking at the art from Brightly Brewed. They always do such a great job making everything look really, really cool. But let's go read some of the story overview stuff. So it says adventures broken up into locations that can be played in any order. Not all locations are needed to complete the adventure, but reading through everything before will make it easier for you to run. It says investigative action points. This is an optional rule to add a bit of difficulty and time pressure, ideal for parties that really want to embrace the investigation and strategy. The adventurers are given a deadline. Every visit of a location counts as an investigative action, and the group can do 6 investigative actions per day. This additional system encourages the players to be selective of their choices, since every decision to investigate an area brings them closer to their deadline. For example, if the deadline is in 3 days, then a total number of investigative actions they can do over the city map is 18. The game master should also keep track of the active numbers of investigative actions played. The total number of investigative actions taken corresponds to the time of the day and how long they take. So that's perfect. So you can really just say, okay, well, they've taken 1 to 2 investigative actions, so now it's still morning. But by the time they take 3 to 4, we're into the afternoon, and then 5 to 6, we're at night. So you've got to be aware of your surroundings, what time of day it is, and then it says a long rest would cost 2 investigative actions. So even resting is going to delay them in completing everything, because they have only 18 options. So one day is going to eat up quite a bit. I mean, it's going to eat up 8. So they really have just a little over 2 days to get through, unless they don't take a rest. But, if there's any kind of combat, they're going to need a rest. So very, very cool. And I'm pretty sure the places they would go to may be shut down if they're not going there at the right time. But so you've got all these different flavor text boxes as well to look at. But I want to see if I can find a little bit to read about the adventure. So it's a murder mystery adventure that takes place in the city of Middlerock in the Shattered Spires Mountain. It's compatible with 5th edition and designed for a party of 4 at level 5 in mind, but could be adjusted to work for almost any low to mid-level party. The story is designed to be either standalone short adventure or to be incorporated into a longer campaign. It introduces a few homebrew races, but no previous knowledge is required of those to play. It says players should be aware that the adventure is designed so that everything presented can be a clue, which can lead towards an item, an event, a location, or a person. They should be encouraged to be specific with their investigations, read between the lines, and make their own assumptions to proceed forward rather than relying on skill checks. So, but it sounds like it's going to be really fun. And it says the players discover the body of Wizard Joseph in the river. The local guard comes by just as the party has finished inspecting the body and accuses them of murder. They aren't arrested as there's no evidence against them, but they will all be told they are not allowed to leave the city until the investigation is over, as they are the prime suspects. You can even prompt the party further by suggesting that the guard is debating arresting them to avoid any hard work. However, if they solve the mystery and fill out an arrest form, the guard will just let them go. After all, even if not discussed openly, the city is corrupt. So yeah, that's good motivation to spur them into this adventure. There is some dark stuff in here, as far as, the history and what's going on. So just keep that in mind. But the beauty is, as you can read this whole thing and see if, it's going to work for you. See, they have a dissection room. I'm not bothered by stuff like that, but, I don't know if your players are. So you've got to consider that as a DM. But I would check it out, because it's a pay what you want title. So you can even pay nothing, read it, see if you're going to use it, and then come back and pay something. I would just read it personally in the preview. Because it is all here. You can read the whole thing and then just make your determination there. But I think it's really beautifully laid out, and it comes with some maps as well to use, as well as arrest forms, which are PDF fillable and stuff. And I think Brightly Brewed is a fun little publisher here. So check it out. It's under Middlerock Mysteries, the Washed Up Wizard, in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Ponyfinder, Bestiary of Everglow, 2nd edition from Silver Games LLC. And what's really exciting always with Ponyfinder is the compatibility with so many systems. So while it is 5th edition, it's also compatible with Pathfinder 1st edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition. So that is a lot of compatibility, and therefore your money goes further, I think, too. So it's a best silver seller, already sold 101 copies in its first week. It's 180 pages. Authors David Silver, Byron Mulvogue, and Tim Boera. And it's $19.99 for the PDF, or you can get the standard color for $39.99, or hardcover for the standard color for $39. So same price for standard softcover and hardcover, and you can just pay a few extra dollars to get the PDF with either of those. So that's nice that both are the same price, so whichever one you have a preference for. I usually get hardcover because I feel like it holds up better and you can lay it flat easier, but some people want that softcover. It says, every brave warrior needs an adversary. Every spell-wielding wizard must have an opponent worthy of their skill. Here, you'll find more than a dozen creatures native to the region of Everglow to fill those roles in your Ponyfinder game. Unique and incredible challenges await within, lurking in the shadows until those daring enough to face them come forth. So, really, really cool. And it says it even has other things like NPCs, companions, feats, ancestries, prestige classes, archetypes, spells, and items. So really cool. And it always reminds me a little bit of My Little Pony, like the look of the characters, but it's way more than that. So just keep that in mind. You will get some of that, and that's cool, because you may have players that want to experience that, but it's not exclusively like sort of My Little Pony. But I love that you can go there if you want with the Ponyfinder stuff. So first, right out of the gate, we're seeing this Bone Prancer creature. I'm going to read about it, but first I want to kind of show you how it's structured. So you've got the stat block here, and you can see the PF1 here in the dice in the upper right corner. So that's Pathfinder 1 stat, Pathfinder 2 over here in the green die, and then down below with the orange die, we got the 5th edition, which with it being a CR7. So really cool how they do that. They give you all the different stat blocks. You get kind of your introduction to the Bone Prancer here, which there's the Bone Prancer, and then you get kind of more information about its tactics, its ecology, basic details, etc. And then on to the next creature, which is the Brilliant Luminary Angel, with all of the related stat blocks. So fun stuff. So let's read about the Bone Prancers. The Bone Prancers, contrary to all appearances, are not actually undead. Rather, they are constructs created from the skeletons of ungulate creatures, horses, deer, or sometimes even a mighty rhinoceros. Regardless of the method of their creation, the underlying reason is always the same. The Fae have something in need of a worthy guard. Bone Prancers rely on their innate speed and durable construction to keep safe the treasures of the ruminant, often confounding and ultimately dispatching would-be plunderers with lightning quick charges and keel hauls. Those who would plunder the riches of the ruminant should consider that course of action very carefully should they discover any such guardians, or should the guardians discover them. So that's cool. It's kind of created to guard various things. I like how it looks too. It's got kind of some sparkly things on it, so it could be bejeweled maybe by the Fae. Different trinkets on it. So that's it. Just looks really cool to me. And then what I would say is, even if you're not going to play the full Everglow setting, you could have, there's no reason a Fae couldn't reassemble a skeleton of a deer or a horse or something into a guardian in even Forgotten Realms or some other setting. So keep in mind that you're getting stat blocks for monsters for any setting, especially Everglow, but also for these different systems. So I read this wrong. So the Brilliant Luminary is actually the next creature, this one. So it says, this angelic creature appears to be some manner of quadruped fae, a single quill held in its mouth, dangling with glowing motes dripping free from the feather. Surrounding its head is a bright nimbus of light that dispels all darkness around it. And it says, morale. Brilliant luminaries typically know when they will encounter something beyond their means to handle. If one appears to be entering a hopeless battle, it is for other means, to delay the enemy, save innocents, or allow allies the chance they need. A brilliant luminary will never surrender their life purposelessly and see no shame in retreating if that is the most productive thing they can do. And then it goes into all their ecology and some adventure options. But I just love the artwork for the Brilliant Luminary. It looks really cool. That quill. Could you imagine finding one of those as maybe one of these did die and it leaves behind this quill, and then, if you're a character that likes to write or maybe use it as a spellcasting focus or something, I think that's really, really fun. You get to look at both of these creatures in detail in the preview, but I think the Ponyfinder stuff is always fun, and I love that you can get the hardcover as well. That's really cool that you could have a hardcover or a soft cover of this book to use as well. So look for it. It's under Ponyfinder Everglow Bestiary in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Sandrift, a 5th edition desert adventure from Jonathan Arbor and David Clements. And I like this cover. It's very esoteric with all these different things happening, and these sort of you see different things every time you look at it. Like there's somebody casting a spell in a doorway here, and there's mushrooms growing, and somebody falling on top of these, it looks like giant anemones and bats flying, and it just is a fun cover to experience with your imagination. But it's by Jove Publishing, which I love the name of that. 1233 for 127 pages, and it says, scorching heat, blinding sun, stinging sand, but the harsh desert conditions are only the beginning. Deep beneath the sands, something is stirring, and it has plans for you. A party of strangers arrives in a new town to investigate sabotage in the gold mines deep below the desert. Soon they are thrust into the middle of a bitter conflict between warring factions and forced to choose sides. Ultimately, they must uncover the secret beneath the sands and neutralize an otherworldly threat to the entire realm. This game module, for the world's greatest role-playing game, will take a group from 4 to 6 players from level 1 to 4 and contains all new battle maps and NPC art. It's specifically aimed at newer groups. It contains all the guidance you need to run a successful campaign while allowing customization for more experienced game masters. So it's a 3-act adventure, and it's got 75 original encounter ideas as well. So let's look inside. You can see it's got a really good structure to it. So you got the overview, the different acts, and then at the end, some random encounter tables, stat blocks, magic items, encounter maps, all that stuff. But when I was first looking at this, the layout is just so beautiful. They did such a great job putting all of this together. And this map, this map looks so good. I love that. It really looks like a cool desert to visit. Well, maybe not, but because deserts can be dangerous, but the depiction of it is cool. It's not going to be very cool temperature-wise. So it goes through running the adventure, and this sort of iconography of the cover is repeated here, which is cool. Got a water bandit and an overview. Welcome to Sandrift. I mean, the artwork is just so cool to look at. This is an arrival at Newtown. Yeah, this is going to be fun. And then it shows you the flow chart for Act 1. And then here's the Shining One's camp. So this could be dangerous. So yeah, you get to see 15 of the 127 pages. But, I have not heard of By Jove before. And when I cracked this open to just look at the interior, I was like, whoa, this is really professional. Really, really good job with all this. So let's find a little bit to read for you. Let's see. I'm going to go, I think, up here to the overview a little bit. So episode 1, the arrival at Newtown. The party introduce themselves, arrive in Newtown to find it deserted, and are immediately sent on a mission by Captain Bill Prescott, the person who hired them. He tasked them with infiltrating the gold mines via a hidden entrance and discovering why the lift has stopped working. So I don't want to spoil too much, so I'm not going to go through the other episodes, but it looks like there's a bunch of different episodes in each act. So here's the background. It says to read to the players. We'll read that. Until 50 years ago, the entire desert region of Sandrift, and in particular its gold-filled caves, was little more than a rumor passed down among adventurers and explorers. Many had heard of it, but none had ever been there or met anyone who had, and it was wildly regarded as a tall tale for the foolish. That all changed when a merchant from the city of Queen's Reach got lost in a sudden sandstorm while skirting the edge of the Great Desert and found himself gazing down into the giant rift in the sand that gave the legendary region its name. Somehow, he was able to navigate back to the known trading routes, and even more remarkably, he was able to create a map that proved most accurate. Rather than spreading the information far and wide, he went straight to the leader of the Honest Work Trading Company when he returned to the city, aware of the value of what he had discovered. Within 2 years, the Honest Work Trading Company had established their first settlement in Sandrift, and within 30 years, it had built a flourishing gold mine. The discovery was not a secret for long, but few had the resources or will to trek out into the harsh desert, and those who tried were discouraged, often violently, by the trading company and its agents. The one group that could not be discouraged were the Anak Raksa, the tribe who already called the Sandrift region home. They made many attempts to persuade the Honest Work Company to leave and abandon their plans, but using both peaceful and forceful methods. However, they were no match for the might of the industrial machine, and now watch the happenings in Sandrift from within their remote village. So yeah, that's a good intro. It definitely gives you the backstory, and it makes logical sense that all of these different things would have happened. And I like that the discovery of this Sandrift is part of the story. And the name Sandrift seems so perfect because it is this giant sort of gaping maw in the middle of the desert. And I love that the art seems like it was created just for this adventure, which is really nice, because it you don't often see that. A lot of times it's just all stock all the time, right? But even here, look at this map. I mean, the map work in here is just beyond good, and it looks like David Clements is the artist for quite a bit of this stuff, so bravo. Looks so fun and beautiful, well organized. I think this will be a fun adventure for people in a new location to explore, and make it your own. You can continue adventuring there after you've established all the things that happen in this adventure. So look for it in the links below. It's under Sandrift. Give it a click. Next, we have The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns from Ghostfire Gaming and Eldermancy. It's $24.99 for 320 pages. A bunch of authors: Logan Reese, it says Amy Rose, Rodrick, Ben Senfelter, GM Tim, Joe Razzo, Kimberly Polly. Apologies if I mispronounced any of those. It says it introduces a wondrous collection of taverns and inns, all with varying scales of fantasy. This edition is primarily designed to be compatible with 5th edition, but also functions as a huge collection of inspiring rooms, characters, and more to plug and play into your campaigns. With 17 different taverns total, each of these taverns can be enjoyed by any adventurer and can be scattered across any setting, ranging from the grim and seedy dealings and the bloated bounty to the world-shaping Wildeback Tavern. The diversity of each tavern and inn's culture is a spectacle of its own. And it says ranges from levels 1 to 20, and tavern operators and guests to introduce to your party, a unique quest board for each tavern, food and drink menus, and even a brand new 2 to 4 player card game to play with your players and friends. So that's great. You're going to get a mini game that you can use in taverns or outside of that. Even just using the mini game is going to be a huge help. Your players are always going to need taverns and inns to stop at, visit. Maybe they cause a ruckus at a tavern or an inn, and now they got to find a new place because they're banned, right? So you need a bunch of these on hand anyway. So why not grab a book that has a ton of them ready to go? So looking inside, got the introduction, and then you can see each of these places is broken into its own little chapter. So you get the Wizard's Watering Hole, gives you an intro, areas of it, the operators, the guests, the menu, the quest board, the history, and then some stat blocks. So that's a good, well-rounded structure for each of these taverns. And they have fun names like the Treetop Tavern, the Spring of Peace, the Bloated Bounty, the Grand Shanty, the Drunken Treasure, Fungal Grotto, just really cool different names. And then, beautiful artwork, of course, as well. So I'm going to just scroll real fast so you can kind of see how it looks, and then we'll go back up and read more of it. But I love the artwork, how cool it looks. Like it says the tender here, so that must be their sort of automated bartender, because this is the Wizard's Watering Hole, so you can imagine it's going to be fairly magical. So standing 3 stories tall and surrounded by dancing lights and illusory spectacles, the Wizard's Watering Hole beckons any and all outsiders to visit. This widely renowned tavern has established a reputation for excitement and arcane strangeness. The tavern seemingly runs itself, conjuring all its goods and services from powerful and permanent magics. So yeah, that's fun. And it talks about, optimized for players levels 5 to 10, but any players can visit. It's got a map of it, shows you the main hall, and then it just goes through all the different things. So sitting at various tables are the other patrons listed in the tavern guest section. The bar against the back wall is stocked with an array of strange bottles, keg faces, and other barware looking across the shelves and tables. The players will quickly notice dozens of awakened mugs dashing around, helping serve guests and mix drinks. When the players enter, several mugs will approach them and attempt to lead them to the bar. So that's already fun. I mean, immediately you get greeted by these floating mugs. I think that could be really fun. But there's a lot of details here. Even it talks about the tender, which is a modified suit of armor. So at first glance, you'd think this might be an automaton or something, but if you look closely, it's armor that's been animated. So that's really cool. And it's got extra arms, so it can do more stuff along the lines of Cocktail, the movie. So that's cool. And then you've got the showroom, gives you details on that, potion room, and then the tavern operators. So you've got Admindium. This alien creature resembles a spindly purple humanoid with 6 honey appendages that protrude from its back. These appendages resemble the limbs of a spider and end in pointed tips. Its head is featureless save for a large grinning mouth. It wears a 3-piece suit and carries nothing other than a wand of wonders. It will greet the party as if they were old friends and welcome them to what it calls the tavern's greatest secret. Its hidden administrator, Adminium, tells the party that it is a unique creature that feeds on emotions which come from the revelry and enjoyment. The statement is actually true, but the rest of the creature story is a clever lie. It claims that the Wizard's Watering Hole is not entirely independent, but is an extension of Adminium himself. After congratulating the adventurers, it will offer trade. If they leave the tavern and never mention their discovery, they will be given 1,000 gold pieces and an awakened mug as a companion. If the party has discovered the wizards in D3 prior to their meeting and questions Adminium about them, the creature will firmly suggest they leave the tavern and summon the ethereal guardian to escort them out. So various things happen based on what the party gets up to in this place, and it sounds like there's some wizards hidden in here doing stuff. And then you've got creatures can create potions using the materials found in this room. And to do so, they must spend 10 minutes and expend a spell slot of the required level. They must also succeed on an intelligence arcana check to do so, but then it gives you what the results are. So 1, the contents of the cauldron suddenly explode, dealing 1d6 fire damage and burning away the eyebrows of any creature within 5 feet of it. But all the way up to 10 on the d10 here, it says the contents of the cauldron pour out a thick fog that covers the floor before turning bright red. If the creature consumes the red liquid, it gains 1d8 temporary hit points for 8 hours. So cool. Some various effects. Looks like there's gray ooze and cats and different things involved. You got the restroom, private parlor, storage. I mean, the detail is extraordinary in here. I mean, look at, there's one of the fun little mugs. And the artwork, I love the artwork and the style of it. It just feels like you're going to get everything you need for some fun adventures. And just this one we've looked at, the Wizard's Watering Hole. I mean, the mystery behind who owns it and what's going on. I mean, that could be a whole one-shot on its own, and going into this potion room making potions. So I think this is a must-have. You need taverns. This one's got even adventures built into the taverns with levels assigned and various NPCs and stat blocks and fun things like potion rooms. So I think you should grab it. It's under Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Stibbles Codex of Companions with this adorable cover of all these fun friends you can have in the game. I mean, look at that. It looks just really, really fun. It's also from Ghostfire Gaming, $24.99 for 166 pages. And it's got a bunch of authors, including Logan Reese, Corden Fuller, Joe Catt, and Jess Jackdaw. And it's focused on lovable party companions for players and GMs to enjoy. Strengthen your bond with familiars and pets, whilst also discovering dozens of fantastical new friends. Additional content includes an amazing array of new spells, feats, and game mechanics to experience pets in a whole new way. Bringing in just a single familiar from Stibbles Codex can lighten the mood in even the darkest of settings and provide unique friendships to blossom at both the table and in your campaign. So you get over 100 new low CR monsters to be used as pets, familiars, and help little friends. New mechanics on playing with your companions, including finding, taming, and bonding mechanics. Guides on playing with your companions, including their unique personalities, dueling, and battle systems, ability training, and eggs. So you can even like Pokemon this stuff. So that's fun. I'm going to have to get this. It's really cool. So you've got all these companions, and they're organized by the type. So it looks like you're going to get all these different creature types. So you got aberrations with a Biote, a Gonboon, a Maw, a Nyert, and then you go down to beasts. You get Exolotl, a bat, hawks, eagles, coconut crabs, dinosaurs even, and then you get down to the constructs. You've got animated headwear, animated glove, dragons, a Basan, a Dreparus. You know, it just goes through every single creature type almost, it looks like. And then you've got playing with your companions, finding and taming them. So you can do some taming. That could be fun. Bonding with your companions, talks about having multiple of them, giving them gifts and treats. Grooming and cleaning, personalities, dueling with other companions. That can be fun. You know, you could have some like almost PvP stuff going on. Little Pokemon battles. Ability training, eggs. Talks about incubating the monster eggs, keeping the egg warm. And then player feats, spells, magic. I mean, this book is packed. It's got 166 pages of goodness. Look at this. Biote. How cute is that? They're all so adorable. You want all of them. Here's the Gonbun. Yeah, the artwork and the layout. The Ma'a. Love that. That could be really fun. And the Nyert. Wow, it's a magnifying glass to see what it really is. Whoa, I love the artwork for that. Really, really clever. And you got the Shub. So let's read about the Nyert. That artwork is just something else. I love it. It says Nyerts often appear as large, ominous figures that resemble shadowy humanoids. They are able to materialize seemingly anywhere in the multiverse and always convey mysterious messages before vanishing into darkness. Their piercing eyes and nightmarish voices are incredibly effective at delivering these messages with authority. So it says the Naiart isn't actually what it appears to be. If one were to attack or inspect the illusion it casts, they will instead find a tiny leech-like creature, the real Naiart. Naiarts are incredibly powerful teleporters and can create tiny wormholes that lead to any destination they desire. This makes sending messages an easy process, but also aids their escape from dangerous situations. These tiny creatures serve unknown masters, and every message they deliver is not their own. Adventurers with even the strongest bond with their own Naiarts haven't been able to learn their origins. So much to unpack there. I love that. First of all, I mean, the design is really cool. This idea that it's this little worm thing reminds me a little bit of like Mr. Mind from the old Shazam comics. And it's doing its thing, to deliver these messages. And it's also creating this crazy illusion that is, going to scare certain enemies or at least make them think twice. And at the same time, its focus is messages, so it creates these really tiny holes in the multiverse to go from place to place and deliver messages. So you could really use it to get messages around. But it sounds like it doesn't have complete. Even if you've bonded with it, it sounds like it might be delivering messages for a mysterious master. So you could weave this into a campaign to where the big bad is behind some of these creatures, right? And all along you've had this sort of spy with you, not realizing it, or maybe it's not spying, but it's delivering messages on behalf of the big bad. So you have to make some difficult choices toward the end of that campaign on what to do about your little Naiart. But you don't even have to do that. You can have it just be mysterious throughout the campaign, and it's still your little buddy. But I love that. It's just really cool. It says, and it has to have a bond strength of 12 or higher before it can be used to send messages. But once you have that, if as an action you can give the Naiart a name, description, and short message to relay. This message can be no more than 25 words. The Naiart will attempt to reach the described creature using its wormhole ability and convey the message. But then the accuracy is up to the GM. So fun stuff, and that's just so cool. And that's just one. And then you got the Ma'a up here with this sort of slobbery mouth. And it says, a brightly colored playhouse, a bush heavy with ripe berries, an unguarded pile of precious gems, a disembodied mouth floating in the air. All these are forms that Ma'a might take, only the last of which shows the truth. In its natural form, the Ma'a appears to be nothing but a mouth, and in fact is, on this plane of existence at least. The creature's digestive tract is a small pocket dimension to which it transports anything that it swallows. Ma'as mostly feed on birds and other small animals, though some of the older and larger ones can unfortunately devour small and younger humanoids. So fun stuff. You got to keep an eye on this one. It'll eat your enemies and everything in sight, if it's your little companion. Yeah, these are fun. I love the artwork. I'm definitely going to get this because how fun is all the artwork and just the backstory of each of these little creatures. I'm a big fan of animals in real life and pets and going to the zoo. I mean, all that stuff. And then of course when you see these cute ones like this as well, I love that. It's just fun. So I hope you check it out. You need to mix up some of the familiars and stuff in your setting anyway, because it gets boring running the same kind of familiars all the time. And these creatures, even if you don't use them as familiars or pets, they can be creatures that are part of the story that they encounter, either just background or NPCs. So you need this book. There's over 100 of them in here, plus so much more. Spells, feats, other good stuff. So look for it under Stibbles Codex of Companions in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Strange Life Forms of the Astral Sea, Dunes of the Desert World, from Matt Popovich. 75 cents for this, 13 pages, and Matt is the writer and artist for this book. And it's part of a series. You can see them linked here. There's been 3 volumes, and then now 2 more without volume numbers that are more focused on different areas. It says, what will you stumble across among the blistering dunes of a distant wild space desert world? fend off a band of vicious Salachi caravan bandits, face off against a Tal'Dorei bounty hunter, stand against the fabled desert Leviathan as it rises from the sand, and awaken the foretold one from the endless number of its tomb. This supplement adds 12 new monsters and characters imbued with a touch of sci-fi, ideal for a desert planet of a Spelljammer campaign or any other desert area in your campaign. So yeah, you can put these in a desert area on, the Forgotten Realms or really anywhere while you're doing your thing. And I just am astonished by the artwork in this. Like, to me, 75 cents. I mean, when the Demon Skill is going to take half of that. So this author is going to make not very much, and to pay for his art, I mean, I can't even imagine that Matt's art is, going to be, the time and money is going to be repaid for that, because I mean, just the materials, software, or I don't know. I'm guessing it was made on a computer, but it could have been made actually in print and then scanned. But like if it was made in print, like the materials would cost more than that. So, but I mean, look at this artwork. It's just really unparalleled in how good it is. And if Matt is not doing art for publishers like Wizards, they need to look into it, because this is just so good. Maybe Matt is, I don't know. I don't keep up with all the artists that Wizard uses, because they use a lot. So you got the Dune Scuttler and the Kaorzan Bounty Hunter, and the Kaorzan Bounty Hunter's CR7, and this one is a CR7 as well for the Dune Scuttler. So getting some powerful stuff here, which is good. It says the Dune Scuttler is an insect-like creature with a chitinous shell and powerful mandibles, burrowing through the sand to ambush unsuspecting targets. A creature that seamlessly blends the essence of both an arachnid and a crustacean. The Dune Scuttler's hardened exoskeleton protects it from attack and the desert sun. Scuttlers are social creatures and have a unique method of communication, tapping into the primal rhythms of the sand itself to transmit messages through the desert's ever-shifting dunes. This sand song allows the Scuttlers to send mating call tremors or territorial warning tremors across vast distances. So they're adept predators. And they got this furious ambush, which it says if the Scuttler is burrowed in the sand, it can spring forth at an attack, moving up to its burrow speed to within 5 feet of the target creature. The target must make a dex saving throw, taking bludgeoning damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. If the target fails, the Scuttler may make an additional claw attack against the target as a bonus action. So yeah, this could be fun to have hiding under the sand and popping up. And we looked earlier at Sandrift as an adventure, right? So you could use this in that location because it's a desert adventure. And then you got the Kaorzan Bounty Hunter before it was destroyed at the conclusion of a long brutal war with the particularly vicious interstellar Astral Elf Empire. The warrior world of Tel Kaoza was famous for fostering some of the most skilled warfighters in the galaxy. Now they are scattered across the Astral Sea, where they often sell their services as mercenaries or bounty hunters. The Kaorzan clans have long held a steady pact with the enigmatic techno-wizards of the Mekros Order, a secretive organization skilled in the art of crafting advanced weaponry and arcane devices. So that's cool. And then lists some of the fun equipment it has. It has an arcane jetpack. The bounty hunter activates its jetpack and gains a flying speed of 60 feet until the end of its turn. And it's got something called capture. The bounty hunter attempts to restrain a creature it has grappled, and with specialized bindings, the restrained creature must make an athletics or acrobatics check to escape. The bindings have 15 hit points and an AC of 15. So yeah, pretty cool. I just love the artwork. I think Matt is just doing such good stuff here. And there's even, if you look down here, there's even a bundle for some of the first few volumes. I mean, so it's going to get even cheaper. Again, I don't see how Matt is making any money off of this, but I mean, I would be happy to have all of this artwork at my disposal to look at and show the players. I mean, they're going to be really amazed when you show them such quality artwork for your, third party creatures, because we don't always get such beautiful artwork. So great stuff. I hope you check it out. It's under Strange Life Forms of the Astral Sea, Dunes of the Desert World, in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Tal'Dorei Campaign Setting Reborn from Darrington Press. It's $24.99. Authors Matthew Mercer, James Heck, and Hannah Rose. And it's already sold 101 copies in its first week as a best silver seller. And it's 283 pages. So really, really cool, and Critical Role fans should know all about this book and these creators. It is just top-notch stuff. I'm so excited. I got this in hardback and PDF, but I'm excited to see that now it's available here for people to purchase in PDF. It is just beautiful. I mean, the interior, when I flip through the pages of the hardback, it is just, one gasp after another at looking at the artwork. So just artwork alone makes this book worth it, because I'm telling you, as a creator myself, I can look at this artwork and just get 400 ideas before I even read what's on the page. So that alone is worth the price. But it's a definitive source book for bringing the locations, people, creatures, and character options of Critical Role's Tal'Dorei continent to role-playing games everywhere. An outstanding team of designers and artists have created an unparalleled resource for playing in and learning about this iconic locale from the hit series Critical Role. So they first explored Tal'Dorei, a fantasy-filled land brimming with tales of heroes and wonder through the epic adventures of Vox Machina. Now players everywhere can live the magic and stories to rival the beloved show. Soar on a skyship from the metropolis of Emon to the distant haven of Whitestone. Venture into wilderness rife with terrifying monsters and wayward mages, and uncover magic items that range from simple trinkets to the legendary vestiges of divergence. Explore dazzling new subclasses and backgrounds in your epic adventures in the world of Exandria and beyond. Tal'Dorei Campaign Setting Reborn holds a wealth of playable content, lore, and artwork to inspire. The adventure begins here. And as I said, the artwork inspires, right? I'm, even just looking at it while I'm talking, reading this to you, I'm getting ideas, because it is just too good to imagine. I mean, I can't. So you've got, this is everything you need to unlock the rich setting of Tal'Dorei. A guide to each major region, expanded character options, including 9 subclasses and 5 backgrounds, magic items, such as the vestiges of divergence, which are really, really cool. They're legendary artifacts that grow in power with their wielders. Then you get dozens of creatures. Many of them have been in Critical Role's campaign. And then you've got new lore and updated stat blocks for each member of Vox Machina. And, the team, of course, is amazing. You can watch the video on it down here that they have. But let's look inside. So you get the chapters, it goes all the way to chapter 6, and they cover so much. I mean, I can't even scratch the surface here. So you get the Pantheon, you get factions, and I just love having those available, because, if you're going to DM, you need these. So even if you don't play in Exandria or any of these settings, you can, you can homebrew, reskin things. But I hope you do play in Exandria. It's so fun. I mean, look at this whole gazetteer here, all the different areas like the Cliff Keep Mountains, the Verdant Expanse, etc. Then you got the character options, so races and cultures, from dragon blood all the way down to tieflings, and then you get Hemocraft, and subclasses, Barbarian Path of the Juggernaut, Bard College of Tragedy, Druid Circle of the Blighted. I mean, they're all here. Blood Magic for the Wizard, fun stuff there. Backgrounds, Ashari, Reformed Cultist, and then even some new feats. I mean, and we're just to chapter 4. So, I mean, this is packed. If you want your money to go far, if you want $24.99 to give you so much stuff, this is the way to go. You've got your toolkit. It says creating adventures and various magic items and those vestiges, which are really fun. They've even got some optional campaign rules, and then a bunch of adversaries, whether it's NPC, adversaries or ones that you battle. They're here, and so you get the whole preface. I mean, here you go. That artwork. I mean, that battle looks epic. I mean, the detail, you could decide what the names of the characters are in here, like what's going on, for your own story if you want, or, base it in Tal'Dorei, however you want to do it. So, let's look at some of the further. Oh man, I'm just taken aback by this art. Look at that. I have this book and I've seen this, but every time I'm like, whoa. So you can imagine I don't get very far when I crack open that book because I'm just oohing and ahhing at everything. But anyway, so you got the whole Exandrian calendar. You've got all these planes and how they relate to, you know, Tal'Dorei and Exandria. But let's come back up here and read a little bit about the lands, because that's what's at the heart of this. You know, the area that you're going to be experiencing if you want to go there in your campaign. So you got the Republic of Tal'Dorei, from the great city of Iman in the west across the vast dividing plains, and even as far as the isolated city-state of Whitestone in the northeast. The Republic of Tal'Dorei spans the breadth of the continent that bears its name. It is ruled by a council of elected representatives and is cordially allied with all other nations on the continent. It says the Ashari, the elementally attuned Ashari people, are reclusive and dedicated to their mission of safeguarding elemental rifts across the world. Two of the greatest rifts exist in Tal'Dorei and the Earth Ashari of Terra, and the Air Ashari of Zephrah keep watch over them from their secluded homes. Then you got the deep halls of Craghammer, deep beneath the Cliff Keep Mountains. It's Craghammer, the ancestral home of Tal'Dorei's dwarven people. Though Craghammer is home to people other than dwarves, its dark and claustrophobic halls act as a deterrent to non-dwarven residents, as does the dwarf clan's famous inhospitality. I am just tongue twisted today. So yeah, I mean, each of these areas is so different. So you've got this sort of dwarven area with the deep halls of Craghammer, and you've got the Ashari, which they're reclusive, and they're focused on these rifts, which are, you know, associated with the different elements, which can be really fun because you can, you know, have some elemental things going on. You may maybe even have, you know, an elemental themed spellcaster connected to a backstory with the Ashari or something, right? So you're gonna just have so much fun, I think, picking through here. And, you know, books like this that are supplements and give you so many different things, you're going to sort of plug and play different pieces from them as you build your campaign, whether you're going to steal things from this and put them into your homebrew setting, or whether you're going to play it as is. You're going to use pieces of it over time. It's not like an adventure where you start on page 1 and you just work your way through the whole thing, right? So I love books like this because even though adventure books are fun, the many different opportunities to pull things from this book over time are going to be higher than an adventure, in my opinion, because it's designed to be used as needed, and it can be used for both, you know, Exandria and elsewhere, because you could take a subclass out of here and say, oh, it's also going to be in my campaign, or maybe it's just a subclass here, but then in some other setting it's an NPC power set, right? So always good to have books like this that have just so much packed into 283 pages. I mean, really. And then this art. I live for this art. Anyway, you should grab it. It's Tal'Dorei Campaign Setting Reborn in the links below. Give it a click and add it to your collection today. All right, our next title is The Tome of Personalities, Volume 1, from Let's Rock and Roleplay, and it's $8 for 34 pages. Author Nick Lowe and artist Bex Lowe, and it's a resource for 5th edition. You find 10 fully color illustrated NPCs complete with adventure hooks, motivations, and goals. The personalities featured here can serve your campaign as villains, allies, patrons, and much more. Each entry includes a full-page illustration, flavor text to help introduce them to your world, as well as a description of their motivations and dark secrets. So you get a full stat block so you can use them in combat. And it just talks about it. You know, they can be anything you want them to be. They can be just a background, a name you throw out there, you know, oh, go talk to so-and-so, or a name in a book, all the way up to like who you're facing in combat as a big bad, right? So whatever works. And the artwork is so beautiful. I really, really love looking at it. So this first one, Vexy Hellweaver. It says, as you emerge from a small copse of trees and back onto the royal road towards the town, your ears pick up the telltale clang of steel on steel. Up ahead, there looks like a small melee has broken out between several combatants. One of them is a tall and powerfully built woman of infernal heritage wielding a large battle axe with apparent glee. She screams and laughs as she smashes her weapon down upon what look like the heavily armored men of the king's guardsmen. 3 already lay dead at her feet, and a fourth is clearly on the verge of joining his companions. In one agile sweep, she knocks the sword out of his hand, and he raises both his arms in submission. You're in luck, Tin Can, she mocks. I'll let you keep your miserable life, but you make sure to tell everyone that Vexy Hellweaver is not to be trifled with. With that, the soldier, no more than a young boy, turns and flees, but not before Vexy delivers a powerful boot to his backside, causing him to stumble as he frantically flees up the path. So that's a fun flavor text way of introducing the character if you want. So you can read that aloud to your players as this character is about to be encountered, or you can skip that, whatever way you're going to use the NPC. It's up to you. But it's got a list of motivations and secrets, and then sort of like an overview summary, and then you get into the whole stat block. It's Vexy is a CR5, and then all the abilities. So bonus action of Rampage and some fun different things. Monster Girl, so Vexy has advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. Motivations, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, and I seek to be the strongest. I'm an agent of chaos who needs motivation to cause anarchy. A rival mercenary company have been stealing my contracts. Time to make them pay. So those are good motivations. And the secrets, I'm not of this world. My spirit inhabits this body, but I'm not one of you. My axe talks to me every night. It longs to bathe in the blood of others. And there's a huge bounty on my head. It seems the locals regard me as somewhat of a bandit queen. So you see, you can play with all of those, having Vexy be either an unlikely ally or the target of investigation. Maybe the bounty is on her head and you got to try to take her down, but then you have this dilemma of like, well, Vexy seems helpful. Maybe Vexy took down an enemy, so what do we do now? Do we give up on the bounty, or do we, what do we do? But yeah, Vexy seems really fun, and the artwork seems really fun. And that's just one. There's 9 others in here with all kinds of information, just like I read for you. So that intro, flavor text, motivation, secrets, backstory, and a full stat block. So it doesn't say the range of CRs here, but I'm guessing there's a range in here as well. So check it out. You're gonna need NPCs. I mean, look, you can just see in this picture some of the artwork of some of them. They're going to be really fun, and support this creator. Let's rock and role play. Love the name. It's only $8, so give it a click. It's down in the links below under Tome Personalities. Give it a click. Now it's time for a rapid fire list of other releases that came out this week that we don't have time to chat about in detail. So first up, we have Cleansing the Ruins, a Moonshade Adventures for Forgotten Realms. It's an adventure for level 12, and it's $2 for 14 pages. Then we have Cursed Classes Fighter the Stricken. It's a fighter subclass for $0, so it's free, and it's 1 page. Then we've got Emissaries of the North for Forgotten Realms. It's a bard subclass, $2, 8 pages. And we've got Fenarian Guide to Solarmancy, which is spells from Koa the DM, $10 for 25 pages. We've got Fairy Campaigns from Legendary Games. It is subclasses, items, adventures, so a whole bunch of stuff for $24.99, 224 pages. Then we've got In Search of Dragons, the Heroic Conversion for Dragonlance. It's an adventure, 5 to 7, but it's a conversion, so you will need the original module, which is probably also available on the DM's Guild. This one is priced at $3.99 for 27 pages. Then we've got Craven's Common Magic Items, which, as its name implies, includes magic items that are more common in style and rarity. It is $1.99 for 16 pages. Then we've got the Magic Item Menagerie, Volume 5, which also has items as well as some spells for you. It's $5 for 18 pages. Then we've got Monstrous Crits, which is $4.99 for 16 pages, and it has all things related to crits for monsters to make those a little bit more interesting. Then we've got The Old Commander Goes to Hexcrawl, which is a mini fantasy setting, system neutral, solo rules included with some really fun artwork. And it's got a lot of reference material as well. 27 pages on sale for $2.95. Then we've got Primordial's Wrath, which is items, subclasses, and enemies from the wonderful Arapakli. It is 35 pages. $9.95 is the price point. Then we've got Recharged Spelljammer Adventures in Space, which focuses on giving monsters recharge abilities. So every monster in Spelljammer gets a recharge action or more. And that's 10 pages, $1.95. Then we've got Subclasses Supplement 1 with 4 new subclasses and over 20 magic items and spells. It is from Smiling Orc, and it's pay what you want. So $2 for that is the suggested price. 30 pages. Then we've got the Sunken Isles from Eldermancy and Ghostfire Games. It's $24.99, 312 pages, and it is a seafaring adventure with subsystems, various subsystems, resource system, sailing system, magical tattoos, player options, monsters, and a bunch more all tied together in a campaign. And then lastly, we have Untold Subclasses, College of Choristers, which is a bard subclass with spells and an NPC, $1.95 for 6 pages. Well, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the video, like the video for the algorithm, leave me a comment. I will respond to all comments personally, and click those links to support these creators we've talked about this week. It really helps them, encourages them to keep going. And if you purchase anything, whether we talked about it this week or not, after you click one of our links, it does support the channel through a small affiliate fee. So we do appreciate it if you always click one of our links before you do your shopping, because it doesn't cost you any extra and it really helps keep the channel running. Also, if you want to help us even more, we have 7 books we've released. You can find out about those at splinterverse.com, or in the video description link, we list all of them there, including our newest Dragonlance Companion. We're also working on a massive 2-book Kickstarter coming to your way, I should say, later this year, and it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to talk about it. It is one of my favorite things I've ever worked on, and I think it's going to be really interesting for you. I think everyone who likes Dungeons and Dragons will at least be interested in what it's about. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're following us everywhere at Splinterverse so you can be the first to know when we get ready to launch our Kickstarter. And for those of you listening that are publishers and creators, I try to give you a tip every week. And this week, I want to talk about Twitter. And I know it's controversial. Some people don't like Twitter. They don't want to be on Twitter. My advice to you is, whatever you think of Twitter, create a business account and use it for your publishing business, unless you're just a hobbyist. If you want to make this a side gig, either part-time or full-time, you really need to be engaging people on Twitter. It's where a lot of the ttrpg players are. And it is really the dominant social media. And I know a lot of times for people outside the US, I don't see them as engaged as much. A lot of times I go to make this video, I can't find people on Twitter. And if you want this to be a business, you need to have a presence on there, regardless of what you think. Just don't have a personal account on there if you don't like Twitter. And definitely have presence on other social media places, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or even, some of the newer ones. Mastodon, for example, we're on Mastodon. Get out there and put your business out there, because you need not only places for the customer to find you, but places you can engage and find customers. And it's really just a critical part. I'm always excited to tag people when this video comes out each week. And if you're not on Twitter, I can't do that. So create an account, even if you don't use it that much. I definitely recommend it for your business. All right, that's my tip for creators out there this week. And again, thank all of you for watching. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun 100 episodes, and we've got a lot more headed your way. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Happy adventuring.